I did it.
Mm-hmm. And we should be recording from this lovely new microphone, too.
Yes, thank you, Chloe, for having a microphone that has been living in the closet for...
Living in the coffee table, thank you.
Whatever. It is another closet. Cheers.
Cheers.
To finally doing the fucking thing. Bowie,
Finally
I
doing
swear
the
to
fucking
God,
thing.
If you... Yeah, lay on the bag. Be good. He's gonna destroy
Yeah, at some
things.
point over the course of the podcast, at least for our subscribers who actually watch the videos, we'll have to introduce the cats because they'll clearly have to make appearances at some point.
Are you kidding me? They're gonna fucking introduce themselves. Look at him. He's already planning Armageddon in our living room.
I know. All the gear everywhere. He's like, what is happening?
Bowie, look at me. Look at me.
Look at me, Bowie. Remember, you are my son and the one true king.
That got your fucking attention, didn't it?
He's
Yeah.
like, I am.
He's like, we're at domination! I have to dominate something for you to inherit first.
It's gonna happen. Okay. Scooching back into the sofa a little.
Yeah,
Delightful.
get comfy. We're probably going to be here for a minute considering how long...
We can chit chat.
Yeah.
We are good at that.
It's a reason why these aren't like Vines or TikToks. Why this
No.
has to be a show. Because...
Neither of us is short format friendly, really.
No. We're long.
Verbose types.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you for using that word. That was really sexy.
You're welcome. You know me and my love of words.
Right? Ditto. I don't think people say ditto anymore, but I do. It will live
I do.
on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
we're here to do a thing.
Yes, we are. We are here for Tits and Tea.
Tits and tea, because we both have tits
Lovely
of varying sizes and shapes. And we do love tea. We have a lot of teacups, a lot of mugs. My friends used to make fun of me profusely. You know who you are. Since childhood, because I would always drink out of teacups, and they're like, you can just drink that out of a frickin' regular cup. But like, what even is a regular cup?
Truly.
I don't know. Mugs are more fun, and they have handles.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I like them. There may not always be tea in these cups. You'll know when,
Yeah, fair warning.
when our teeth start turning red. Whiskey may be a better option.
Yeah. The red wine.
White wine. You could do white wine rosé. Cheat it.
True.
Cheat the system.
I love a good red.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Unfortunately, this whole show is not about wine. We don't
No.
know enough. We just like to drink it.
Mm-hmm. We know people who know a lot.
Yes. We have educated people around us who can help with selection.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What we know about and why we're here
Yes.
is to talk about sex education, sex history, sex politics.
Oh, fuck yeah. Intimacy in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I sell sex toys now for a living, so we will be talking about... We could talk about masturbation technique eventually on, not YouTube. Not TikTok. Other places.
In medical or like,
Yeah, and like toy reviews.
Yeah.
Because God knows I will have a mighty collection eventually. And then I'll just be in bed a lot because I feel like I will treat them like I treated my stuffed animals when I was a kid, where I thought, because of Toy Story, I thought that they came to like life, and that if I didn't have them all on my bed,
can't neglect them.
that they would be jealous
Gotcha.
of like the favorite one and like maybe take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Macbeth style. For power to be number one.
Why does it not surprise me that as a child you had very dramatic imaginings for your toys.
Dude. Yes, but that's besides the point.
Yes. So, I know we've known each other for, God's, almost 11 years now.
Yes! We've known each other for almost 11 years now. I think it'll be 11 years in August.
Yep. August 15th, 2012 was when I moved to LA, so.
Yeah, 2012.
Yep.
Ada.
Good times.
Great times.
And one of the things I most fondly remember you telling me about our friendship and how it really started was how you and I basically just got abandoned in a living room together by our friends.
Did we?
Yes.
I don't even remember how we met. It was so long ago.
So we'd seen each other around school. Like, we
Yeah.
knew each other in passing,
In, like, the
initially.
courtyard.
Yeah, and had a lot of mutual friends.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like, Riley and Derek being my fellow Austinites.
Riley and Derek. My boys.
And we were at, I think, their apartment one day, middle of the afternoon.
God. Yeah.
And they disappeared into one of the rooms. And they're like, we'll be back. You guys stay here.
Not.
And, like, closed the door on our faces and just left us in the living room.
What were they doing in there? I don't know.
Who knows? I suspect I know, but, you know.
I suspect that they were smoking weed and they didn't invite us.
Yeah, probably.
Assholes.
But they left us alone in the living room. And as, you know, quirky, nerdy girls will do, we just started chit-chatting.
Yes.
And as being the kindred spirits that we are, we ended up just somehow talking about being witchy and pagan and also loving things like burlesque and pinups and sexuality and like from a young age having a fascination with it and me being like, yeah, no, that's like same, like it was totally like normal, and that being like a real aha moment for you.
Because up until that point in my life, not to completely interrupt you,
I would love to hear your side of it.
But like, I mean, my whole life, I was the only one who I felt like a lot of my friends became like sexual as teenagers, but I feel like I always really had a curiosity for it from a really, really young age, and I don't really know why, and I always kind of felt, due to some other things I'll get into later, like kind of very shameful about it, and always felt like there was something horribly wrong with me. And it was really amazing after moving to LA, getting to meet other people, especially you, who had similar interests and I think
early inclinations and fascinations.
And I think you're the first person I ever talked to who was like, oh yeah, like
100%.
Dirty Little Birdie Club right here. And I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think you and I have been working our way towards doing something like this podcast for a really long time because we're both so passionate, ultimately, about, one, normalizing the fact that all of us...
The stigma needs to fucking go.
Like, unless you're ace, which is entirely acceptable and a beautiful thing, but, like, unless you're ace, fucking everyone has sex. It is a normal human thing. We are evolved to want it.
We're one of the... God, frick. I totally thought... Damn it, Talia. I seriously thought about this last night and was like, I know I'm going to talk about it. Or mention it. I knew I was going to bring it up. And I was like, I need to fact check myself. And, like, I needed to have a notebook. And, like... So I could just, like, look down and be like, oh, yeah. But I think we're, like, one of 5 or 6 species who mate for pleasure, who have sex for pleasure and not sheerly to breed.
Procreate, yeah.
God, procreate is such a better word for that.
I mean, unless you're getting into fetishes,
Unless
which
we're
we will
getting
at
into
some
the
point.
kinks. Yeah. We definitely fucking will.
Because you can't have a show that talks about the spectrum and history and nuances and politics, etc., of human sexuality without discussing fetishes and kinks. Because basically, a lot of people have some version of them.
There are as many types of kinks and fetishes as there are people. I think it's really interesting. Like, obviously, we like to kind of put them into like these little boxes to be able to like study them and better understand them. But I mean, there's as many different types of love as there are people. There's many as like not everyone's gonna get taken by the same thing. Everyone ticks a little different.
Or as I like to say, different strokes for different
folks.
folks.
Classic. Freaking
favorite.
classic.
So yeah, that was, I think, knowing how we feel about all of those subjects, and because of how our friendship started, it was a natural evolution for us to end up here. Especially also trying to think of things to create, to be creating our own content, to be creating some sort of work that we can care about, that we can be passionate about, and feel fulfilled putting out into the world.
Yeah, something that's, I don't know, I'm going to use the word fuck because it just came to my head, but like I feel like it's one of the most worthy things that I can use my time for. And like we're both actresses. That's how we met. We went to a theater conservatory here in LA. Got to meet a bunch of amazing people from around the world, and that's always really been one of our one true loves.
Yeah, storytelling, performing, being in front of a camera.
Connecting with people through story.
Yeah, and at the heart, and I think this is something that we both feel when it comes to acting and where the magic of it lies, it's all ultimately about human connection.
Absolutely.
And about understanding and immersing yourself in human experience.
Yeah.
And the diversity of it.
You hear that? You kind of need humans to explain the human experience. # writer strike 2023.
Yeah.
Pay them.
Truly.
Yeah.
Really, really.
I wish I could write. I've been trying to write one act for my great aunt for like over a year now. And I'll sit down and I can make as many notes and like character developments as possible, but actually getting it, like getting to the writing stage, I freeze. I get so stuck.
It's really easy to get in your own way in that regard.
Yeah. And I feel like
coming from someone who has fully like 4 different like spicy romance novels started.
I only knew about the one.
Oh, I've got 4 of them.
I can't wait for your spicy novels.
And like thousands of words in multiple of them, and I'm still just like,
Nah, we'll get to it eventually. I feel like we kind of just like ping-ponged our way here between like everyone being like, you need to create your own content. You need to, like, we obviously, we consume a lot of social media, obviously. We're both millennials, and we were there when it hit the ground, and when YouTube when YouTube just used to be like weird fucking cat videos. And
this is Biscuits, whose tail you keep seeing periodically.
There will be cats. There will be cats.
Yes, we're sorry for any random cat noises in the background of this podcast and video.
Yeah, and I just feel like, considering both of us naturally being interested in these things, it just seems like the most appropriate thing to talk about. And we watch a lot of content creators, especially on YouTube, on TikTok, that we really admire and we can be funny sometimes. So we were just kind of like, we might as well.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be for everybody, and that's not going to offend us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our people will find us.
Exactly.
And
in terms of, like, because inevitably, I think, especially with imposter syndrome, which is very real, there's inevitably, like, the bit of, like, well, what are my qualifications? Who am I to be discussing these things? And I know, at least for me, and I think as well for you, though I'll, of course, let you speak to your own experience with that, but, like...
No, never let me speak.
Since I was absurdly young, and well before I ever had any actual experience myself, because I was a late bloomer...
Same.
I was that friend who people came to for advice on all things. One, in retrospect and with, like, my new understanding of being neurospicy, I think it was because they recognized that, like, maybe not because they recognized that I was autistic, but because they recognized that I was that person who would get a bee in their bonnet and have to know, and then just would rabbit hole on information. And so I just knew things. And also, because I approached pretty much any subject with a, like, logical and, like, detached curiosity, there was zero judgment about any of it. Because, like, it was information, and also, like, if all humans do it, and it's not hurting anyone, why judge, Like, no human behavior really makes sense, so all of it makes sense, was kind of the logic I had as a child. And so, I was that friend who, like, I never did drugs in high school of any sort, and yet my friends knew that they could come to me and be like, hey, so there's been a lot of, like, ecstasy at our parties, and, like, we've been wanting to try it, but we're also kind of scared, and we aren't really sure. And so we thought, who can we ask who'll know, and who also won't judge us or, like, rat on us? Chloe. She's the person to go to.
Cool aunt when you were a teenager.
100% that was me as a friend.
Do you think that maybe the reason why, because I had a very similar experience, like, I feel, well, maybe slightly different. Like, I feel like a lot of my friends growing up, I was always known as the innocent one. I was the one that, like, if my friends were grounded indefinitely, they'd be like, oh, well, I'm just going to go hang out with Talia, and their parents will let them out of the house because they're like, Talia's going to be there.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely
Darling
a good
Talia,
one.
What could she possibly do? Little did they know, I was the one, like, monitoring. I was momming everyone. I was making sure everyone was safe. I was looking out for cops. I'd go talk to the cops if I needed to. Because how could I do anything wrong?
Oh, yeah, with my face, cops loved me.
Right? But it was one of those things where, like, I don't feel like I gave a lot of sexual advice, but I gave a lot of relationship advice to my friends before I was ever in a relationship. I know my sister came to me once for, like, advice of a sexual nature that, by God, I wish I could go back and do again, because it was not good advice. Well, it was advice coming from, like, my point of view, but I was not at the best moment in my life then. So,
sure,
2020 hindsight. But I had friends who, like, and I think maybe it's why we know so much, which is eventually rabbit spiraling down towards, is that because of the things that we were reading, we were getting to experience kind of a more mature life in those pages that did have sex and romance and intimacy. And it's to the point where, like, I had a friend in high school, little virgin Talia, and I remember we were playing Sims, and I think she was, like, messaging. I was so unaware of technology at that time, and, like, I still feel so lost. That, I'm trying, though. I'm trying.
You do. You do try.
You tech for me, so I don't have to.
When it starts to push you over the edge, I'm just like, I got you, I got you.
But she was messaging her boyfriend on something, and I remember, like, he was wanting to, like, kind of sext with her. And I don't remember exactly how it came to it, but eventually I was the one
Doing it for her.
that was doing it for her, and was...
Amazing.
And I don't remember which boyfriend it was, because sometimes they overlap, sometimes there were many.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember, like, it all came undone because I accidentally spelled his name wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I covered it really quick.
I finished my tea.
Damn it! Okay, so now we know for next one we need to have, like, refill tea. Like, maybe we should make a pot.
That would be smart.
That would be smarter. We're working out the kinks.
Yeah, this is just episode 1.
Kinky.
I
Every
see
time
what
we
you
say
did there.
kink, take a shot of something. Anything.
In certain episodes that might be dangerous, though. So take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Spank yourself once every time I say kink.
Better.
There we go. The weirdest fucking wink of my life. Hope y'all enjoyed it. But I feel like we both kind of got put in that space really young, and I don't know, it's always kind of been interesting to me, the fact that, like, I really do attribute it to, like, the books and the movies that I was interested at the time. I feel like I kind of got to live a life that wasn't my own, and got to have, like, experiences and memories and insight through the author's words of what that was. Did it die?
It stopped recording us. 1 second. 1 second. We still have audio happening, which is entertaining as heck. Onwards with you.
Insert video of the cats here.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah. But I feel like we kind of came to this, and, like, the way that I ended up working where I do. I work at a lingerie shop, which is where I got this lovely bra.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to get some stuff.
Oh my god, it's so beautiful. And I would never be able to afford it without my discount.
And I am wearing some delightful Savage X Fenty.
Yeah. But we sell everything from, like, lingerie to bondage to sex toys. And I really have to thank my good friend Nicole, because I feel like, and Catelyn, I feel like you two, at least, were the most recent, back when I was living in Napa, for them to, I think I was giving, like, relationship advice or some kind of sex advice. And I don't remember which one of them said it, because we were sharing probably, like, 2 bottles of wine together.
Good time.
I don't remember exactly who said it, and also it was a while ago. Like, I don't remember who exactly said it, but they were like, you should become, like, a sex therapist. And my initial reaction was, because I think at the time I was, trying to move back to LA. I was thinking about going to massage therapy school just to learn a trade so I wouldn't have to work for somebody else. But,
especially not in some sort of soul-sucking job.
Yeah, which, thank God, I like what I do now. Like, it's still very much a job, but...
Same, yeah.
But it's at least something that I find value in, and I kind of kept thinking about that. I immediately, like, kind of wrote it off, because I was like, God knows I can't afford to go back to school and get a therapy license, a doctorate. I don't know what they've got to do, but they probably have to do a lot. And I wasn't really sure if I wanted to, really do the whole thing of, like, dealing with couples. I feel like I probably would be more suited for, like, if you want to go on, like, a crazy sex goddess retreat where, like,
yeah,
we all do, like, erotic meditations and manifestations and, like, kundalini activation. That probably would be a little
sensual
bit
embodiment movement.
Yeah, that
stuff.
would be so much more my jam. And I was like, I don't know how to get from where I am, which was, I've done so many different things, from, like, working in the restaurant industry on and off for most of my life, to being a housekeeper and receptionist in a youth hostel, to being a ballroom dancing teacher, to working at a bar where I got to get my frickin' Coyote Ugly on, working back in a restaurant because I knew it was just an easy job that I could do when I needed one last year.
Mystery hair on my face. Can you save me?
Do you want me to get it? Where?
On my
Oh,
cheek.
I see it. No. It's not in your cheek. It's in your eyeball.
Oh, that's why it keeps moving.
No, it's attached to your fucking eyelash. Die!
Driving me crazy. Thank you.
Traitor.
Sorry. More technical difficulties.
Execution. Yeah. Fuck, what was I saying?
Sorry.
It's okay. This happens. This is our talks. They rarely
true.
make sense. They are not very linear.
Often there's a cat trying to destroy things in the background.
There will be more structure as time goes on, especially
Yes.
once we start getting to like episodes that are actually about something.
Going forward, we do have a plan. And
Vaguely.
subjects that we will be talking about per episode.
You know what?
So, which is probably a good way to like start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
We figured where to start. Let's start with the sort of stuff that we wish we'd known
Basic
as young
sex
people.
ed, dude. Things that it is hilarious and terrifying how many adults that are walking around there who can legally have sex, who don't understand these very basic principles. And I don't want to be preachy because I know that there's been times in my life where like I've fallen short.
Sure.
I believed myths that I had heard. I may not have acted in complete alignment with how I would like to go about doing things now, but I feel like...
Or even, like, honoring our own feelings because of societal expectations and, like, internalized issues.
So, yes, because we're going to talk about a lot. Like, we're going to talk about everything from, especially in the next episode, I really want to talk about, STD myths that we've picked up that are not actually factual at all. And Bowie Martin. But they're not factual at all.
No.
Anyways, sorry.
Not factual at all.
Not factual at all. How to properly put on a condom. That's something for, if there's any viewers that are, that are watching us that don't already know, or if you just need, a refresher. What types of lubricants that you can use. By God, please do not use some type of oil like coconut or something that is an oil-based lubricant with a condom, because you are begging for somebody to call you daddy and not in a fun way, And
also going into things like consent. What is consent? How consent can be really sexy and how it's also absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
And how there's a lot of misunderstandings about what it is and how that can happen.
And how a lot of times the misunderstandings are led by a paradigm. I don't even think that's the right word. But this idea of what society has told us our whole lives of what consent is and what people like and don't like in the bedroom, and things like, oh, well, it's going to ruin the mood. Things like that, where it's if for one, hopefully, besides, some random one-night stands, because God knows we've been there, hopefully you are sleeping with some more recent than others. I've been a good girl, which is not usually my cup of tea, pun intended. But I think that there's just all these sorts of crazy ideas out there that we have kind of really taken on into our subconscious. And I feel like we're really in a time now as far as humanity. Jeez Louise. As far as humanity, we're really starting to see like a light's been turned on. We're really starting to see the dirt and the gunk and all the shitty things.
We're starting to know better. And so we're having to start doing better.
We need to unpack. We need to learn how to repackage.
There's a lot of deconstructing old habits and old beliefs. And we believe fully from our own experience and from having wonderful people in our lives who are also really good examples of this, that there's a way to learn and to grow with a lot of compassion and a lot of grace for ourselves, and you can have some humor about it.
Because sex could be really funny.
Yeah. Like,
humans are funny. Bodily functions are funny.
absolutely. And yeah, there's going to be some episodes where we get into some difficult subjects, for sure.
And then there's going to be some that are going to be fun, like
Yeah,
different
just to
erotic novels throughout history and like the initial reactions to them and things about, you know, body images and from a historical context.
Because we are obsessed with it and because of the name of the show being Tits and Tea, we will also be going into things like lingerie, the history of lingerie, the fit of lingerie,
how it's properly supposed to fit.
Why so many people feel like a lot of undergarments are torture devices, and how it's all
Corsets.
rooted in
We see you,
myths
Bridgerton.
and lies and propaganda, essentially.
It's such a modern viewing of something, but not understanding why it's actually there. It's all about the story that we tell ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily need to deconstruct the story, but we want to kind of lift the curtain and be like, okay, these are the things that we're seeing. This is the common misunderstandings and lies that are being perpetuated, and this is some historical fact.
Yep. Historical, current,
Yeah, and
technical fact. And as far as like actual experience goes, yes, Talia currently works in a lingerie and sex toy shop. They also sell bondage gear, which is awesome.
Which unfortunately, I feel like but when we do talk about bondage, you'll probably have to spearhead it, because I only had my first bondage experience very recently, because I've only really been with vanilla men. I mean, and I don't count like a light hair pull in doggy or a spank to the ass
Yeah.
kink.
Yeah.
It's a gateway. It's like weed.
Yeah.
It's not gonna do anything, but it's nice.
Yeah, and you know, I've had some experience with that going back quite a while, and I've also had a number of friends who are educators in that field.
Yeah, so she's got
going
the
back for a
inside
long
scoop.
time. As well as also just developing an early fascination and doing the deep dive nerdy thing of just learn everything you can, watch all the documentaries.
All the documentaries, all the shows that are based around sex.
Find people to ask questions of, just like everything. That's definitely my vibe. It's my jam. It's what I do.
It's what you do, and you do it real good.
And this gives me an outlet to share some of that random knowledge that I have on a subject that I don't often get to talk about in my day-to-day, except with like certain people. Or if someone comes to me with questions or is like expressing concern about a situation, in which case then like the little passionate like person rears up inside of me and I'm like, okay, actually let me insert myself into your conversation.
Yes. Not quite tough love Chloe, but like a Mama Chloe moment.
Yeah.
Because you have Mama Chloe moments.
Yes, it is not the no bullshit Chloe moment, though those happen too.
Those do happen. I pray that this never happens on this show. But we'll see.
I don't know, it could be fun.
This is, it could be very
Maybe it'll
fun.
bring out the Dommy Mommy in Chloe. That would be a real change, considering more often than not,
I can really feel that, like, I have not gotten off. Wait, I have this for a reason.
Yes. Oh, and then the last type of episode that you lovely watchers and listeners will get to... Viewers? Will get to enjoy with us. The fan reminded me.
The fan serves a purpose in my day-to-day life. I need it to relax myself, especially when I'm feeling very, very, very heated. Aroused.
Hot and bothered.
So fucking hot and bothered all the time, dude.
And what that last thing is
yes, tell
every
them.
few episodes, we plan on doing like about once a month, probably. So a couple times a quarter.
Yeah, a quarter.
However, this ends up, panning out schedule-wise for us. That's the goal.
Once a week, but we don't know how often we're going to be able to do this. We would like to do live watchings with us of different erotic films. A lot of them, like the one that made us really realize that we need to do this, where I was like, we can no longer watch these things or have these conversations, Chloe, without them being recorded.
Amazing.
Because we can be hilarious. We crack each other up if nothing else.
There's a reason that some of our friends best enjoy watching certain types of movies when we're
just
around.
To watch our reactions. It's ridiculous. But, you know, everything from like I know we want to watch like Moulin Rouge, some that can be like really light and fun, some things that are a little bit more serious, but also, which I'm going to have to do a lot of research on, or we're going to have to bring somebody on to discuss it. But like, I would love to do like Memoirs of a Geisha. And talking about how geishas are not prostitutes.
No.
It's tied on the wrong side, for one. Just really basic things that historically have gotten flipped and out of context. Things like Cherie with Michelle Pfeiffer, where we can talk about, you know, what is it called? Like May-December relationships, as well as courtesans.
So yeah, various...
It's going to be a lot of different things.
Movies with related themes and content.
Yeah. It'll all be related.
And us reacting to them. And then speaking on the themes and subjects of the movies as it relates to the general podcast and the sorts of things that we discuss.
Watch-alongs, but it's something that we could actually... We would like to do it where it's like live streaming, so we can actually be interacting with everybody at the same time.
And then for those who aren't subscribers but still want to be able to enjoy that, or that we still want to be able to share the insights and the fun of those viewings with, we will do an edited down version.
Yes, something that's like YouTube
as an episode of the podcast for, you know, like once a month, every 4 weeks or so. And then share it that way so that people can get like snippets of it. And then only people who really like subscribe and want to be part of the fun with us will get to
actually be there
for
live. The chaos.
Seeing and hearing
because
all of our shenanigans.
If this first episode, if this pilot, this grand kickoff has shown anybody anything, is that the inside of our brains are like a bowl of spaghetti, and we're just going to be going from like one noodle to the next. We eventually try to wrap it all into
like rainbow soup.
One bite.
I don't know what that is, but that's what it is.
It's a thing now.
Yeah.
Rainbow soup, rainbow fish.
Rainbow trout is delicious. I know that's
Shut
random.
up. I'm so hungry right now. I need to eat.
Yes.
Rainbow trout.
So yes. Welcome to Tits and Tea. I'm really excited to be doing this.
This is going to be
so really much fun. It also gives me an excuse to bust out all my pretty lingerie.
Yes.
And get more.
Yes.
Because I've been obsessed with it since
forever.
An absurdly young age.
Yeah, just...
Like, even... It doesn't even surprise my parents. Like, at this point, they know. Because I was obsessed with Vargas girls since, like, age 12.
I think you're the one who introduced me to Vargas girls,
yep.
And it's really hard for me
to
imagine a time without it.
Pin-ups and all of that my whole life, basically.
I don't feel like I ever was really obsessed with pin-ups, but I definitely was obsessed with things that were inspired by pin-ups. Like, there were certain characters in movies that I was obsessed with. Like, I remember the first time I saw Jessica Rabbit. I should have known that. I should have known then that I didn't want to be her. I just wanted to be
with her. Yeah.
On the outside, on the inside, on top, on bottom.
Oh, yes. Also, part of why we say, you know, sex politics is because as an intro about
sex and politics, they
ourselves
are so intertwined. We'll also be talking about religion as a reformed, recovering Catholic.
And, you know, both of us being practicing, if, you know, chaotically practicing pagan witchy types and queer pansexual poly
boy although I don't even know if I am bi, because it's like now, because when I was discovering I was bi, that was the only word that there was for it. But now there's pan, where
I go by both really at this
I feel
point.
like they're interchangeable.
I don't know.
I just feel like for some reason people are so much more like accepting of people being pan, and then us bisexuals are like, you're really just a lesbian, and I'm like, dude, if I had a choice, I probably. There are good men.
Yeah.
It did it again. Did it do it again? That was very much a Home Alone reference as well. Subconsciously, movie quotes are a thing.
I think we've run out of room on the memory card, which is impressive because that is a large memory card.
How much longer do we have? Is it done? It's done.
Oh yeah, the camera's done.
We will have to just reshoot a new ending.
Yeah.
Because also I'm not gonna...
And we'll obviously be able to edit the audio.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cheers, Chloe.
Cheers. And, you know, on this one, for now, audio-wise, we could end with whatever we have here. But also, we can always come back in and do
We could just put a fucking
one.
picture of biscuits on the front for this part.
We'll just be like, sorry for the technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But to wrap it up, since our camera has decided it's out of memory, and I have to figure out what that's about because there's a terabyte of memory in there.
We have tits, we have tea, and this is Tits and Tea.
And it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be chaotic as hell, but it's going to be educational. It's going to be real.
Yeah.
We will eventually bring in other people, but for now it's just going to be our...
It'll be our little fun thing.
Geeking out on these subjects
Yeah.
and sharing it with people.
So in the words of Stanley Tucci in The Devil Wears Prada, gird your loins. I love him.
And we'll see you in episode 2.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Or, you know, talk to you soon if you're only listening.
Yeah. Or if you know us, just text us.
Hex, yeah.
Yeah. Bye. Peace.